Hi everybody, it's Kat here. I am currently in limbo in transition to moving from Las Vegas to Colorado, so forgive the new temporary environment. But today, I really wanted to talk about what is arguably the most important topic that we encounter in the journey of working with plant medicine, and that is integration. Integration is starting to get its due course in attention and respect and reverence. For a long time now, the belle of the ball when it comes to this work has been the actual journeys themselves, and it's really truly my opinion that the integration phase, the aftermath, is by far the most important process, because if we don't really take integration seriously, we run the risk of potentially not embodying the lessons that occur in the journey of working with plants like ayahuasca, and at worst, staying in a space of confusion and instability, because let's face it, working with these plants can turn our lives upside down. The process of becoming more conscious and of healing the darkest aspects of our shadow is just no small task whatsoever. So integration is the what we do with it in the aftermath, and it's really what allows our lives to be dramatically impacted for positive reasons. But if we don't make that a priority, then these things may not occur. So what do I mean when I say integration? There are many elements to it that are really important. Number one is taking stock in what we understood as the communications from the plants that we worked with in terms of honoring our intentions and giving us insight into how we're showing up, the patterns that we are working with, the things that aren't serving us. And that takes significant soul searching. It's rare that an integration is like this instant understanding of, oh, it all makes sense. Because when we work with plant medicines, typically it's never ever what we expect it to be. So it takes some time to kind of figure out what the heck just happened. Part of that is understanding the way in which plant medicines communicate. And for most of us, that is in no way an innate understanding. These are very complicated consciousnesses that are anchored in unity, that speak in different ways than we do, that are not linear, that are often really hard to understand. So we not only have to understand our own subconscious revealings and the things that we discovered about ourselves, we also have to understand the way in which these plants work with us. That is something we can do through research. It's also something we can do through working with people that already have this experience that can help. Traditionally, a lot of people turned to cognitive therapy, which is a beautiful process. But if you're not working with somebody who understands the particulars of how plant medicines communicate, you're missing a big piece of the puzzle. So integration specialists, which are becoming more and more common, which makes my heart very happy, are wonderful guides and partners in helping to really make the most of these experiences. Other aspects of integration, really understanding what a dark night of the soul is all about. I mean, the thing is that the hardest experiences we have with plant medicines are often the most valuable. That doesn't mean they're easy. They can be extremely uncomfortable, bring up emotions that perhaps have been repressed and pushed down inside of us for decades, and ask us to confront the most difficult parts of ourselves, but that has the biggest rewards. So integration often includes embracing these parts of ourselves that perhaps before we either didn't know about or had tremendous judgment and resistance to. And sometimes working with plant medicines mean we no longer have the opportunity to hide from them, which is awesome, by the way, because we're never really hiding. These aspects of ourselves are playing on our psyches, whether we're conscious of them or not. And sometimes medicines like ayahuasca make that very obvious. That's part of the way she loves us, by the way. Integration also involves creating a deeper spiritual practice, being able to identify what practices could be most beneficial for these phases of our lives. Everything from meditation to learning more about creating a sense of protection and a sacred container for you to do this kind of work, connecting with tools, connecting with our spirit tribe, our guides and our ancestors and our animal totems. All of these things sometimes involve needing some guidance to connect with, but they are relationships that are utterly life-changing and helping us to make the most, raise our vibration, and really embody the spiritual principles that the medicines teach us. Integration also helps us find the parts of ourselves that we're most passionate about expanding and learning more about. Like, we all are seeking love. We all are seeking healing and joy, and all of these things take work to identify the barriers that we've had before that have created the relationship with suffering or disconnection or confusion or body pain, like all of these things that sometimes plant medicine journeys help to bring to the surface and give us more information about. But the information that's given in the ceremony is just the tip of the iceberg. We have to do the work to embody it. Integration as a different definition simply means completion, a space of wholeness. So we know we have integrated a plant medicine journey because we feel a sense of completion. And often that's the time when we feel called to do something else in our journey, whether it's another plant medicine ceremony, whether it's a meditation retreat, climbing the Himalayas. Like, it's an endless list of possibilities, but typically it makes more sense to integrate with what we're working with, what just occurred, feel that there's a sense of completion before we dive in and add more. I see a lot of people come to ceremonies without respecting integration, and they're kind of repeating things over and over again. Ayahuasca calls that doing your homework on the teacher's desk. If we only treat the ceremony space as the place where we're doing this kind of work, we will repeat things. We will have to go back and revisit things because we're not doing essentially the homework of our daily lives. These are just many of the endless list of topics that we can cover in integration, and it's such a personal process. I mean, each of us are in our own journeys with this, but just know that it is the part of our spiritual journeys, especially with plant medicine, that really makes or breaks whether we feel like these experiences have changed our lives for the better. If you're curious about going deeper with this topic of integration, if you'd like support in your journey, I've partnered with an amazing, very knowledgeable woman on this topic named Marissa. She runs something called the Initiate's Path. And we have put together an 8-week course all about all of these aspects of integration and many more, supporting people in the process of grounding in these profound experiences. So if you'd like to join us, we'd love to have you. We're going to be running courses for many, many months now. And there's a link below and also information at the very end of this video to go to the site to learn more information and to register. It'd be an honor to welcome you. Regardless, if you have questions, reach out to kat@afterlife.coach. I'd love to be a part of your journey and making the most of your spiritual experiences. Thank you for listening. Next week, I'll be talking about the very sensitive issue of mental illness and working with plant medicine. I was previously diagnosed as bipolar, and ayahuasca helped me move through that. I no longer even remotely identify with those labels, but it's a really big topic that a lot of people have some questions and concerns about. So I'm going to share my experiences and hopefully give some of you some inspiration that you too deserve help and can get it. Thank you so much for listening. It's an honor to be connected, and travel safe, journey well. Much love.